Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is the Prince of FNAF, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing, and also be sure to hit that notification bell. That way, you'll indeed be notified for any awesome videos like this in the future. Alright, for those of you who don't know, Cineplex and Colossus movie theaters often like to create lots of merchandise for movies that come out, and none is more popular than the collectible cup topper with the collectible cup. Because not only do you get a really cool cup topper with a possible character or item from a popular movie that you are excited to go see, but you get a really big cup with pictures of characters or the movie's poster on it, plus you get twice as much beverage than you do with their regular large cups. So obviously you can see here, this one is for Ghostbusters Afterlife. You can see Paul Rudd's character, Gary Gooberson there, and you can see that there is Zool's eyes glowing behind him, obviously as a nod to him getting possessed in the movie, which inevitably ends up happening. And then on the back you can see the Ghostbusters Afterlife logo, one in English and one in, I guess, French or Spanish. You can see the different gadgets like the goggles and the pike meter, and you can see Egon's custom proton pack. This is the one from the first movie. Obviously, as the movies went on, he customized it further. And then we get something new to the movie, which is this ghost trap on an RC car, which is pretty cool. You can see the Cineplex logo at the bottom. And then obviously, you can see Slimer up top here, looking pretty cool. Now this is an interesting design for Slimer, as I was expecting to see him in this movie, because in Cineplex's advertising they had lots of plushes, and obviously he was featured in the cup topper line. So I automatically assumed that he had some role to play in the movie, but he didn't. And I even more thought so, because this is a different design compared to the two previous designs we've had for the character in the first two movies and then the 2016 remake. This one's got a different mouth structure. The teeth seem to be a lot more, there seems to be a lot more of the teeth, and he does have different looking eyes. I did see some promotional images for this version of Slimer, and the eyes almost seem to be a glowing, kind of orangey yellow color. So it's very different from the Slimer that we've seen in the past two films. So it seems like they were going to have Slimer appear at some point in the new movie. However, later into production, they probably decided, nah, let's just go with Muncher as the new kind of pet mascot ghost for the film. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm going to take Slimer off here, and we're going to take a closer look at him. Alright, so taking a closer look at Slimer here, you can see what he looks like. Now, obviously, this is a very different rendition of Slimer. Very different from the Slimer that we saw in the first two Ghostbusters movies, and then obviously the 2017 remake with the girls. So, obviously, I was like thinking, oh my god, Slimer's going to be in the movie. Or maybe he was intended to be in the movie, but at the last moment they cut him out in favor for having Muncher be the movie's kind of mascot, pet ghost character. But you can see just the way his mouth and the way he just slight differentiations from the other two versions of Slimer we've gotten in the films, but it's not very obvious. The changes are very, minor, because it still looks like Slimer, but he is pretty cool. It's done in a nice translucent green plastic, and I love that a lot of the figures do this. Instead of having like some kind of stand that's translucent that he's floating up on, but they have him held up by the kind of slime dripping effects, which I think is cool and definitely fits with the character. And the Funko Pop did this, as well as select versions of the figures that came out for the character. But obviously, I love that effect, because it still looks like he's floating, but he's just got slime dripping off of him. And instead of having, the really cheesy kind of translucent, rod that's holding him up, they have the slime, which really sells it. He looks pretty cool. He looks really nasty. He looks like he's about to jump out and scare you. He looks pretty cool. The painting on the eyes is kind of sloppy, but hey, he looks nice nonetheless. The texturing and the slime and all that jazz looks really cool. I like the way his arms are kind of fanned out, like he's gonna reach for you, or like he's going Wah! Like he does in the first two movies. But it looks pretty cool. Anyway, for size comparison, here it is next to the only good ghost that came out of Ghostbusters 2016, and that is Mayhem. He's this kind of demonic dragon ghost, and he's the only other Ghostbusters toy I have, so you can see him next to the Slimer cup topper from Ghostbusters Afterlife, and they are pretty cool next to one another. Again, the figure of Mayhem here is cast in translucent plastic, but the cool part about this figure is that he can glow, and he's now the color of what he actually was in the movie, because he's not brown in the movie. He's like a green and yellow color. But he is pretty cool, and you can see the two figures next to one another looking pretty awesome. But there you go. You have the Ghostbusters Afterlife collectible cup with one of the cup toppers. Now, they did sell various other cup toppers, like one of the mini puffs, which there are many that appear throughout the film, as well as the custom proton pack that the kids use to catch ghosts in the movie, as well as the Ghostbusters cross-out logo with the ghost coming out, which is pretty cool, and definitely it's a great lineup. However, I think in place of the customized proton pack, even though it has a great role to play in the movie, I think they could have swapped it out for another character, even Slimer, who does not appear in the movie whatsoever. They could have swapped out those two for something like the Sentinel or Zool Pterodogs, or Muncher would have made more sense than having the two really cool figures of the mini puffed and the Ghostbusters logo with the ghost in it, rather than just having the proton pack and Slimer, which seemed pretty random considering that Slimer himself never appears in the movie, and the proton pack, while it was a good part of the movie and actually was a huge part of the movie, they could have opted out for more ghosts in the line, like Munch. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this Ghostbusters Afterlife theme of cup toppers, and with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Do take care and have a great night.